Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And right before I wanted to originally start filming this video, I saw that the first pictures of Tamashii Nation 2023 made their way to the web. And it's safe to say that the original headline for this video was blown completely out of the water. Because the first picture that I saw immediately made me worried for my wallet. The 1/60th scale metal structure Kaitai Shouki Gundam Mk.II AU color version. So my first thought was obviously, damn it, do I start saving up for the AEUG version that is basically confirmed to happen? Or do I wait for the Titans version, which may or may not happen? But fortunately for me and my wallet, the proportions went for a more retro chonky version. And while I do like the chonky Mk.II as well, I don't like it enough to get a metal structure figure of it. Now, they haven't released the price yet, or any other details for that matter, other than the few pictures that we have at the moment. But, the new Gundam, which I think is a very good comparison, goes for 100,000 yen, which is 660 US before shipping, import costs, and whatnot. So, no matter how much the Mk.II is gonna end up being, it's gonna take a chunk out of your savings. And if that new Gundam wasn't expensive enough, by the way, don't worry, because you'll soon be able to buy more stuff for it. The option parts armament enhancement plans, which comes with a shield, a beam rifle, the backpack of the mass production new Gundam, which has incomes and beam cannons with beam effect parts, a stand to put everything on, and minifigures of Astonaj, Chan, Amuro, Bright, whoever the guy in light blue is, and a mechanic. And alongside it, they also announced that they'll be selling the new Gundam to put them on as a Bandai exclusive, with the Fin Funnel expansion set included. More details like the price and the release date should be coming soon. Sticking with the metal figures, last week I talked about the teaser of the metal build GN Arms Type D, and now we got the full details for the set. But I think it might be a little bit different from what a lot of us were expecting. Instead of releasing a complete set, they're instead releasing it as add-on parts for the Type E, and of course, it is limited to premium Bandai. So for 24,200 yen, 160 US, you're getting a bunch of joint parts, a missile container, 2 beam cannons, a sensor unit, and also a tripod. So with this set, you can't just make the GN Arms Type D, but also the super substratospheric altitude gun, or a figure-exclusive configuration where the add-on parts act as handheld parts, handheld weaponry. And alongside of it, they also announced the metal build Dynames repair. So, 00 is what your bank account is going to be saying if you're a big fan of Gundam 00 or the Dynames. The add-on set will be releasing in April, but for the repair, we don't have any information as of yet. Another thing that we do have all the information for then is the premium Bandai limited metal robot spirits Barbs Form 1 to 4. This demonic Gundam goes for 19,800 yen, which is around 120-130 US, is slated for a June release, and comes with all of the parts for Form 1, 2, 3, and 4, or any other combination you want to put them in. There's 3 shoulder parts, or 4 if you want to count no shoulders as an option as well. The gauntlet, the wire claw, the axe, 2 swords, its famous mace, the smoothbore cannon with removable magazine, and a variety of hand options. And then the most expensive thing that we have all the information on was the also premium Bandai limited Gundam fixed figuration metal composite MS-07B Gouf for 30,800 yen, which is around 210 US. This not Zaku is slated for a May release and does come with a large amount of accessories to try and justify that price, especially for a Gouf. We get the usual things like a left machine gun hand, shield with heat saber, and 2 different heat rods, a shorter one and a longer one, but both are posable. And then we also get parts to replicate the Gouf Customs Gatling shield, which includes a solid heat sword and also a regular left hand. Now, if only they'd thrown in some weapons like the Zaku machine gun or the giant bazooka, and this could have been the perfect Gouf figure. Meanwhile, from the Cosmic era, they just showed off the entire Mighty Morphin Astray team, all at once. The blue frame with a new head, the red frame with new markings, the green frame, the gold frame also with new markings, and the Mirage frame. But despite having like 5 new figures on display, this is like the least like new announcement because almost all of them are using the same frame, and the only real new one is the Mirage frame, and even that one is only like mostly new. What is completely new then is the metal build Impulse Gundam, not to be confused with the metal robot Spirits Impulse Gundam, which does already exist. And as with so many figures here, no information is available, but we can like extract some information from the images. Like it looks like it's just going to be the Impulse Gundam without any of its silhouette packs, but it does come with the armor Schneider. So the 4 silhouette is probably going to be a separate purchase. And let's do a couple of quick fires now. They showed us the Gundam Fixed Figuration Metal Composite Dead Scythe Endless Waltz version Rosette. There was the Robot Spirits Sea Gundam in Hathaway's Flash colors. They misspelled the name of the Robot Spirits Full Armor Hyakushiki Kai as Full Armor. The Metal Robot Spirits G-Self Perfect Pack got announced with a really fancy display, and Advance of Zeta got an even cooler display with a bunch of variations that you can pull off with the upcoming Hazel and Fruitadoo. If I ever win the lottery, I'm doing something like this. So, where were we? The Robot Spirits KA Signature Shards DJ was announced, which comes with a backpack taken from the Shruzum Diaz and a pair of Gyaradoga shields, which will then pair nicely with Omro's DJ. And we also got a bunch of Zeta Pluses from the Metal Robot Spirits KA Signature line. They had the Zeta Plus in red, also known as Omro's colors, which was unveiled like 4 years ago and then just like vanished into obscurity. They had the new blue version, which is probably going to be identical but in blue, and the Zeta Plus C2, which has like a test version of the Double Zeta Gundam's Hyper Mega Cannon installed on its head, but is otherwise identical to the regular C1. So yeah, considering that it's been 4 years and counting for the release of Omro's A1, I wonder when we're going to get the rest of the gang. And there was even more Universal Century stuff from the regular Robot Spirits line. We got all of the details for the Gundam Mark II Titans version anime. In April, you can get this bad guy Gundam for 8,250 yen, which is around 50-60 US, and it comes complete with all of its usual accessories. The optional Vulcan pod, beam rifle with 2 extra E-packs and beam effect part, bazooka with 1 extra magazine, 2 beam sabers with 2 regular beam saber blade effect parts and 1 slashing beam saber blade effect part, a sliding shield, 2 thruster effect parts, a bunch of hand options, and the ability to mark it as unit 1, 2, or 3. And the way they went about it here is with part swapping. Also, the bazooka can be stored on the backpack and the spare magazine on one of the side skirts, but they don't show if the beam rifle can also be stored on one of the side skirts. And then in one fell swoop, they immediately showed off the regular Rig Diaz, Quattros Rig Diaz, the Hyzak, and the Mark II AEUG version. And especially the Rick Diaz's here are shown with some very interesting accessories. They've got really cool thruster effect parts, they've got a hand part which shows like the glue launcher, and Quattro's unit is also shown with the beam rifle of the Garibaldi Beta, which I didn't remember like them ever using it in the anime, but apparently they did use them in episode 15 and 34 at some point. So you learn something new every day. The Hyzag then is shown with its most basic equipment, being a machine gun, a shield, and the missile launchers, meaning that the rest is most likely going to be an option set. And then from later on in Universal Century, they showed off the Phantom Gundam Victory 2 / Victory 2 compatible set in all of its effect parts glory. And then from one of the smallest things, we go to one of the biggest things. The Robot Spirit Side MS Big Zam version anime. Again, as with so many things here, no details are given, but we can already see a lot of cool things. Other than the fact that we're getting a roughly 1/144 scale Big Zam, you can see that the mono eye and even the mega particle cannon are lit up, and I couldn't help but wonder if that entire magnificent base is also going to be available as some kind of limited edition, special edition set. Probably not, but one can dream. And also, just like imagine the price of the entire set, because you've got 2 domes, 2 Zakus, 2 balls, a gym, a custom light up action base, and a giant light up Big Zam. That would be close to like $1,000 or something, especially if you include shipping costs, import costs, and whatnot. Quickly returning to Gundam Seed then, where we also got some Robot Spirits announcements. First up, all of the details for the Aegis Gundam, and I am absolutely loving the proportions of this thing in all of its modes. And for 11,880 yen, 80 US, you're getting pretty much all of the accessories you need for an Aegis figure. A beam rifle, a shield, 4 beam saber blade effect parts for the claws, a firing effect for the Silic cannon, thruster effects, an action base connector part, and a variety of hands. And this thing will come flying your way in May. And then secondly, they announced that they'll soon be announcing the details for the Buster Gundam. A bit more surprising then were the SH Figuarts announcements. From Gundam Seed, we have Kira in his piloting suit, Athrun in his piloting suit, and Lacus, and from Mercury, we have Guel. And half of them are really good, but the other half could do with some improvements. Kira and Athrun look about as good as they could, with the only thing that I initially noticed is that their shoulders were quite wide, but that's just because of the design of the suit itself. For the other two then, Lacus has kind of a dopey phase going on, and she almost looks like the bootleg of the actual version, and Guel has something wrong with his neck. It's just too long, also making it look too wide. But part of me hopes is that is just because they accidentally extended the joint, because you can see a noticeable gap between the neck and the side of the head, almost as if they pulled on his head a bit too much. For the Witch from Mercury Robot Spirits figures then, none of them are marked as new announcements, but I do think this is the first time that we get to see the Lefrith Ur, the Lefrith Thorn, and the Ariel Rebuild version anime Quiet Zero, which, as the name indicates, is the Ariel Rebuild with a portion of the Quiet Zero acting as an action base, and it also comes with a clear figure of Eri, so definitely a very interesting set. And from Mercury, we segue nicely into the Gundam Universe series. On display, we have the Ariel Permit Score 6, Full Armor Unicorn Gundam, Sinanju, and the Ale Strike Gundam. The prize for the most obscure thing then goes to the Metal Robot Spirits Command Gundam. That is how they spelled it. The Green Beret Gundam, the Red Beret Gundam, and the Black Beret Gundam. And for those of you familiar with the Command Gundam, it's basically a similar story with our Beret Gundams. They were originally super deformed designs, which were now translated to a full-length version. And while they do still look like slightly crazy, they definitely did a great job at making them look badass nonetheless. But I think I kept the best for last, or at least the most unique thing. The Dimension Art Metal Unicorn Gundam, and it does look really impressive. The Unicorn Gundam looks like it's stepping out of a window, or I guess they're trying to go for like a different dimension or something, and it comes complete with light and sound effects. And on the image, it also says metal material, so I wonder how much metal is going to be in this thing. Like, the entire thing looks metallic, but this makes me wonder, is that just metal color, or is the entire thing going to be made out of metal? And if so, what is the price going to be? Because it looks like an art piece, so I wonder if it's also going to be priced like an art piece. And while that was everything for the Tamashii Nations event, we do still have a little bit more Gundam figure news. The Gundam Guide Generation Master Asia will be getting a restock at select Japanese retailers, and of course, Bandai, with pre-orders having started on the 10th, and this version will be releasing in late March. Somewhat related to the figures then is the second lineup of Gundam Seed Freedom Chibi Plushies. They'll be releasing in April, and for 2,420 yen, 16 US, you can get Kigali, Shin, or Diarca. The Gunpla news then might not have been a lot, comparatively speaking, but it is something that I am excited about nonetheless. The high-grade G-Line Standard Armor. We kinda got it teased with like the Avatar Fumina kit, which had the same missile launchers, but I didn't think Bandai would actually go ahead and turn the G-Line into a Gunpla. The only downside though is that it is Bandai limited, because of course it is. Reservations on the Japanese site started yesterday, and for 3,300 yen, 22 US, this bundle of joy can be yours in February. You can display it as the armorless regular version, the standard version of the standard armor, or the full version of the standard armor, which also equips a new backpack with extra fuel tanks and those missile launchers that I just talked about. The only thing that I see missing from this package though is the small beam rifle that was used by the armorless version. And now I'm wondering when, or if, we'll be getting the other versions of the G-Line. I think I'm gonna go boot up Gundam 0081 in celebration after this video. And related to Gunpla then is the announcement of the Gundam Side F and Gundam Base Limited soft vinyl figures of the Santa and Snowman balloons from Gundam 0080. They're 1/144 scale, making them perfect for the high grades. They go for 1,650 yen each, around 10-11 US, and they're slated for a November 23rd release. So you can even make them part of your Christmas decorations for this year. And now I'm already wondering what the next soft vinyl figure is going to be. Because, like, these things are perfect for giving us things that we would just never get as Gunplas. Like, more dummy balloons would be the obvious answer, something like the Rizel, for example. But a deployed Balyut would also be really cool. And then talking about Christmas, from November the 23rd until February the 18th, the life-sized Unicorn Gundam statue will be getting a winter makeover styled after the upcoming Gundam Seed Freedom movie. It'll be lit with a blue and red light. There will be a special movie playing on the screens behind the statue, and in front of the statue, there will be a photo spot with the Rising Freedom and Immortal Justice Gundam. On the gaming front then, in Gundam Battle Operation 2 for the PlayStation, this week the Dolmul Due joins the fun, and last week it wasn't the Jagan cannon that joined, but the Jetta cannon. And in Gundam Extreme vs. 2 Overboost, the Feroct has entered the fray. And in other news, in anticipation for this week's Las Vegas Grand Prix, PC and smartphone wallpapers have been released featuring Gundam and Alpha Centauri, linked down below. The Bandai Namco Cross Store in Ikebukuro Sunshine City will be opening/reopening tomorrow, and this week's Mobile Suit Girl is the Musha Gundam Girl. As for the things you could get this week then, on the 9th, a bunch of China limited things went up for sale. For 129 yuan, 18 US, there is the QMSV Mini Freedom Gundam Full Burst Mode with decals styled after those of the life-sized version. For 599 yuan, 83 US, there's a collaboration with Pop Mart for a Zaku Molly. She comes with a Zaku machine gun water gun and removable pair of swimming goggles and breathing apparatus, meaning that she seems like more of a Zaku marine type than an F-type. And while I do like the retro flair that she's got going on, I do think that like mouth/beak thing is too uncanny. For 1,188 yuan, then 164 US, there is the Robot Spirits Wide Base Team Mobile Suit Set, featuring the gun tank, gun cannon, and Gundam, with new markings and a new base plate to put them on, but unfortunately, no hanger parts. And for 1,299 yuan, 180 US, there is the Gundam Head Collection RX-78-2 Gundam Rollout Colors version. This really nice rendition of the RX-78-2's head is about the size of a human head, being 47 by 49 by 33 centimeters, or roughly 18 by 19 by 13 inches, and also has LEDs installed for some cool light-up functionality. Meanwhile, on the 11th then, we got a bunch of Gundam-built Metaverse kits. For 2,640 yen, 18 US, there is the high-grade Shin Burning Gundam with its overwhelming combination of polarized effect parts and superb articulation. For 1,980 and 13 US, there is the SD Gundam Cross Silhouette F Kunoichi Kai, which can be built as either a more lean figure with the cross silhouette frame or a more stubby figure with the SD frame, and on top of coming with a nice array of accessories by itself, it can also be combined with the Legend BB Gunpla. And then for 1,430 yen, 9 US, there was the Gundam Base Limited Log Gundam Shisaku Ichigata, also known as Trial Unit 1 or Prototype Unit 1. Basically, it's the Log Gundam in G3 colors and with standard RX-78-2 weapons. From the beginning of the week then, 2 new sets hit Gachapon machines across Japan, both going for 500 yen a spin, around 3 to 4 US. There's the Mini Carddass SD Gundam Gaiden Knights of the Round Table set, consisting of 8 miniature Carddass machines, which come with 12 miniature Carddass cards that they can actually dispense, 2 of which are holographic. The other set then is the 10th volume of the ever-popular Exceed Model Zaku head series, this time consisting of Char Zaku 2, the mass production type Zaku 2, the high mobility type Zaku 2, Black Tristar's version, and the Zaku 2 MSV Desert Colors version. Or, if you prefer to use your skills to get some nice figures, you can try your luck in a Japanese arcade for this Audrey Burne prize figure from Banpresto. She became available on the 14th and has a face that has definitely seen some shit. So, while it's not exactly anime accurate, I do feel that it's accurate like to the spirit of what the figure should be. And as with so many of these prize figures, she will no doubt become available at regular hobby stores at a later date for about $20. Or you can go for these life-sized new Gundam tumblers that are exclusive to Namco arcades. Yesterday then, the previously released Gundam Flash phone cases were now released for the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. There's the RX-78-2, Char's Zaku 2, The Last Shooting, and the Unicorn Gundam. And the gimmick here is that the cases have a built-in LED that is powered by only the radio waves sent out by your phone. And they go for 17,600 yen each, 117 US. And then finally on the 17th, which is either today or tomorrow, depending on your time zone, the third and probably final volume of the Witch from Mercury Carddass cards got released. There's a total of 30 to collect, 15 regulars, 10 prisms, and 5 golden prisms, and they're sold in packs of 3 that go for 200 yen each, being like $1.30. As for this week's reading material, there was the 23rd volume of Big Comic Superior, in which Gundam Thunderbolt is being serialized, the December issue of New Type, featuring the setting images of various Gundam Seed Freedom mobile suits. Yoasobi the Book 3 was released for 2,750 yen, 18 US, and includes the piano scores for 10 songs, plus a special medley. The first episode of SDW Heroes Kira Hagane was released online and in English, so I'll have that linked down below. And the first tankobon volume of Char's Counterattack Beltorchika's Children was released in English. Moving on to the Gundam apparel then, where Strict G kicked things off last week Friday with 3 very new and very varied collections, at least in terms of style. Because for 5,830 yen a pop, 39 US, you can get these really amazing looking t-shirts with Japanese painting inspired artwork. There's a navy one with the original Gundam, a white one with the Zeta Gundam, or a black one with the new Gundam. And they all look simply fantastic. Then there's the second Strict G Arms 2023 Fall/Winter Collection, featuring a Johnny Raiden inspired A2 jacket for 75,900 yen, 504 US, and a Xeon Black or Char Olive Level 7 jacket for 27,500 yen each, 183 US. And the third collection then is to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Gundam.info. And it has illustrations by cartoonist Oho Shintaro on t-shirts for 5,830 yen each, 39 US, or mini towels for 990 yen each, which is around 6 to 7 US. But unfortunately, as someone who has no connection or history with the artist, these drawings look very generic, especially compared to the previous 2 collections that we just had a look at. From Bankore then comes the Glow in the Dark series. You can get the Federation emblem, the Xeon emblem, Char's personal emblem, or Amro's personal emblem on a t-shirt for 4,400 yen each, 29 US, a cap for 4,070 yen each, 27 US, or a keychain for 1,100 yen each, 7 US. They're all slated for a January release, and as you've probably been able to tell by the name of this collection, they glow in the dark. And also slated for a January release is a necktie that is styled after Athron's necktie from the upcoming Gundam Seed Freedom movie. It goes for 4,950 yen, 33 US. And as always, let's quickly wrap things up with the polls. With Gundam Build Fighter celebrating its 10th anniversary, Gundam.info wants to know which one our favorite team is. The OGs, Tri-Fighters, Build Divers from the original Build Divers, or Build Divers from Build Divers Tri. And the top 2 is basically already decided. Whether it's on Twitter or on the main website, Sei and Reiji have a commanding and of course understandable lead, with Build Divers Tri being in a relatively comfortable second place. So the real battle then is going to be for third place. And it is pretty neck and neck so far, because right now on the main website, Build Divers is in third place, but on Twitter, Tri-Fighters is in third place. And personally, I am rooting for Tri-Fighters to be third. But if you want your voice to be heard as well, I'll of course have the links down below. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.